Hey there everyone, just a quick video to show you my demonstration of how to do the Trushine. Okay, so this one here is the gel enamel base coat, which you can actually see there, and it is actually written base coat on there. Now it's really important to make sure that you do actually get the base coat and the top coat in the right orders. You can see there that it says top coat, and it also says top coat on there. I actually have a little sticky band around mine to let me know that that is the top coat, a little bit easier. But you can see there, one has lines, one doesn't, but they are both navy blue, and in different lights sometimes they can look a little bit similar. So just be sure that you're actually getting the right top coat and base coat. Now it's probably difficult for me to show you on this angle, but gel enamels, they're a different consistency to polish. So they are actually prone to leaking, so you need to do them up really tightly when you're finished. So you can see there I've had a little bit of a struggle to undo that. But when you actually take the wand out, if you actually tornado the bottle so that the enamel stays in the bottle, and then wipe gently there, so you don't want it leaking all over the top. It's really important to also not have too much on your brush. If I can put my hand behind that, maybe you can see. So you want the front to be loaded, but the back to probably be not so much. So I usually brush the back off so it's almost got none on there at all. Okay, and then just some loaded on the top there. I find it really important that you actually do your base coat as carefully as possible. The base coat lays the foundation for the rest of your colour. So if you can do your base coat really well, then you'll generally find that your colour and your top coats follow. You may have also heard that it's really important to actually make sure that your nails are actually really quite clean, that you've done all your prep prior. I've just taken off a set of wraps and a gel that was actually on my ring finger, so I'm just going to redo that with the nail prep cleanser. I'll just show you quickly that's the nail prep cleanser there. And you do actually get nail prep cleanser wipes in with the Trushine kit. So if you do run out of those, I find that this nail prep cleanser is fantastic and probably the most environmental and most fun, economical way to actually go about it. So that's what I use. They are $27 a bottle and they last a really long time. Okay, so I'm just giving my nails a bit of a wipe, make sure that they're nice and clean after I've finished doing the buffing and the trimming and all those sorts of things. So they're all ready to go, so I'll give that a quick wipe off again. Okay, you do get quicker at this as you go. I've done quite a few sets now, so I'm starting to get a little better. I certainly don't claim to be a professional by any means, but I just wanted to show you how I do it. Alright, so I'm just going to do my ring finger there. So I've got the loaded side and I'm starting in the center of the nail, and I pop a little dob on there, and then I actually push that dob, flare out my brush and push it up to my cuticle as close as I can without it touching my cuticle, and then straight down. Okay, then I do the same from the side, but I actually flare the brush, I run it out as close to my cuticle as I can. Notice the brush is flared down the sides and not touching the skin at all. Okay, I'm doing it quite slowly just to show you. I grab the brush, I let it flare, and I run the side as close down to the cuticle as I can, but without touching the cuticle. Alright, it's really important to also cap the end of your nail. So capping the end of your nail just means giving the end a swipe like that. Okay, so you can see there that I've capped that. Sometimes you might find a little bit of build up on the end, and you don't want that, because when you cure later on, that can actually be a little bit thicker. So I just give it another quick wipe over so that that tip actually has an even coat on it. So you can see there that I've done my base coat and that it's not touching the sides. If it does happen to touch the sides, you do actually have an orange stick that's actually in your kit. It has a pointy end, it's a bit hard for you to focus on that, and a flat end. Okay, the flat end you can actually just take and run it down the side of the cuticle to wipe off any excess, and you can do the same with the underneath of your finger, because the thing is at this point it's actually wet. Okay, and it will not dry until you pop it under the LED lamp that's provided. Okay, so you can clean it up. I haven't got any there at the moment, but I'm just demonstrating to you how you would clean it up if you had made a little bit of a mess with it. Take your time, there is no hurry. It will not dry until you pop it under the lamp. All right, I've done my base coat. I'm now going to pop that into the lamp and push the button, and that is set for 45 seconds and it will turn off automatically. Okay, so notice I've just got my ring finger in there. Generally what I do if I'm doing my whole hand is that I'll paint my first 4 fingers with the base coat, then I'll cure them. I then do my colour, I cure them. I'll then do a second coat and I'll cure it. Then I'll pop my top coat and I cure that. And then I use my prep cleanser again and I wipe off any sticky residue. A lot of people don't realise that it is actually setting. Because of that sticky residue, they think that perhaps it's not working properly, but it's that you have to grab your prep wipe and actually wipe that off. So while that's doing that, I'm just going to show you, actually that's finished already. I'm just going to show you here, I've got my Mauvelous Trushine gel colour. Okay, and I'm just going to do that one for you today because I'm doing it with this month's Sister Style, which has some sort of dusty rose colours. So again, you just open the lid. Okay, you want to tornado the bottle. Make sure that not too much actually comes out. You don't want it to leak. And again, wipe off all the excess that's on the back. So your back is almost completely dry and you have a certain amount on the front. So you can see there. Okay, now you want to do relatively thin coats. Keep your bottles away from your lamp as well because you don't want those curing and going solid in your bottle. But do relatively thin coats. If you can think about when you're actually painting walls, your first coat is almost see-through. But I'm just going to show you, I'm using the loaded side and I'm just going to pop that daub in the center there. See how I've got that center bit? Right, and then I take my brush, I let it flare into that and I push it up to the cuticle as far as I can go without it touching, and again go back down. See how sheer that is? Your first coat should be very sheer. Okay, so just go carefully. It's not going to set until you actually pop it under the lamp, so you can take your time. Okay, but notice how I push the brush so that it actually flares and I can cover more of that nail. Okay, so before I actually cure that, notice it is very sheer, and sheer is good, and we want to cap the end of the nail, okay? But see how I've got a tiny little build up on the end, so I'm again just going to wipe that down so that it's not thicker on that end. Alright, can you see that there? I'm not sure how well we can actually zoom in on that, but notice it's not touching the sides. On either side I actually even have a little bit of a gap. Okay, and then we cure that one again. Okay, I'm going to do either 2 or 3 coats depending on what the actual consistency turns out after I've done 2 coats. But for now, we'll see how we go. Just curing that one. Okay, this is the most boring part, is actually watching them cure. You can actually put just clear coat over the top of your wraps if you wish to. You don't always have to do the enamel. If you're a big lover of your wraps, but you really like that solid feel of your gel, this is one that I've just taken off, and it actually has the gel on top, so you can see that it's kept its form even though I've taken it off. So you can use your base coat, cure that, then top coat to give it that solid shellac feel that you're used to from the salon. So you've seen me put on a base coat already. You would just skip that colour coat. Alright, so again, I'm going to take that out of the bottle, give that a swirl. So now that I've cured that for 45 seconds, that is dry, okay, but it does have a sticky residue. Alright, so again, the back is dry, it's front loaded. Alright, and again you want to start in the center with your daub, okay, a relatively generous daub. Pop your brush into it, let it flare out, push up to your cuticle without it touching, and straight back down the nail. Okay, same down the sides, without it touching, and down the side again. Okay, and you want to cap that nail again. Okay, and as I say, I don't like the build up on the end, so I like to just give it one more swipe so that it is actually even across the nail. Just excuse my lovely little cherubs in the background there. Okay, so that for me is still quite sheer, so I would do 3 coats of that one. So I'm going to pop it back in the lamp again, okay, and I will do a 3rd coat just to make sure that that's not sheer anymore. If that's the look you're going for, then absolutely you can do that, but most people do really like the opaque look, so that it's not transparent. I'm really loving this colour. It's actually new to our catalogue. It came out in September. And it's called Mauvelous. It's sort of a dusty rose. I certainly wouldn't call it mauve. I don't think I would call it mauve. But yeah, it's a really dark, dusty rose. And it really is really stunning. It's quite a lovely, probably a really good winter-autumn colour. We are coming into spring, but the weather's still so rotten at the moment. So I'm actually really appreciating these darker colours still. So there we go. I've just wiped the back off the brush. You can see there. I've got it loaded again. And again, dab in the centre, okay? Let your brush flare into that. Push it up to the cuticle, straight down. Okay, same to the sides. And the more you practice, you'll get better at letting that brush flare. If you watch professional nail artists, you'll watch them. They generally do it in 3 swipes. I'm certainly not that clever yet. One day I'll be there. But you can see there, cap the end, swipe it off, and you can see now that that is now completely opaque. From underneath, you can see that the end is capped. Alright, so you can see that it's slightly gone under the nail. Some people even do under the nail. I haven't done that yet, but you could do that if you wanted to. But notice that's a really good coverage. Again, it's not touching any cuticle at all the way around on the side there. You can see that I've left that nice little gap, the same as what you would for your wrap. So embrace the gap, guys. Alright, so it's not touching cuticle anywhere along there. If it does happen to touch cuticle, again, you can use your cuticle stick and wipe against the direction and actually wipe it off onto a bit of towel. Usually kitchen towel's really good. Just going to cure that. Alright, so now that I've done my colour, I'm just going to do that lid back up. Okay, you do want to make sure they're done up tight, and you do want to store them in the upright position. Okay, just going to grab my top coat there. It's a bit hard to see with that lighting. Okay, that's a top coat. And I'm just waiting for that to turn off, and you just make sure it's the top coat. Alright, that'll turn off any second now. Can you just excuse me one moment? I'm just going to growl at my children that are not playing nicely. Guys, can you please play nicely and quietly while I'm doing a video? Okay. Thank you. You have to love working with children. That's the benefits of this job, is that I can actually work from home. I can still teach you guys and I don't have to go anywhere. Alright, so again, top coat, tornado the bottle, wipe the back off so that you can't see any on the back at all, but the top is loaded. Alright, again, you want to do the same thing. You want to pop your little dob in the middle, okay, and then you want to let your brush flare, push it up to the cuticle, and make sure this top coat covers the entire colour that you've just popped on. Okay, so generally let it flare out across the nail, make sure it covers the whole lot. Okay, you want to be a little bit generous with your top coat, because if you leave any gaps, once you've actually wiped off that sticky residue, if you've not been generous enough, you will actually see gaps in there. Okay. I'm actually not 100% happy with that, because you can actually see lines in it, and you'll see there down the side there where I've actually left a little bit. So I'm gonna, sorry, I'm shaking under the, since I've not got my hand down straight. But when you've got lines in it, you can actually go back over it, okay? And because it doesn't dry until you put it under the lamp, it will actually self-level. So any little spots in there, don't know whether you can see that tiny little spot there. You want to make sure you cover them over completely. But let it self-level before it actually pops under the lamp, because it's not going to dry until it goes under there. So I'm just going to pop that in the lamp now because I'm pretty happy that that has leveled. Okay, pop it under the lamp. And I'm just going to grab that cloth again. I use lint-free pads. Again, as I said, it does come with prep wipes in the box, but that's a lint-free pad that I'm just going to pop a little bit of prep cleaner on. So when that comes out, I'm going to give that a really vigorous wipe over with that alcohol solution. So that's now wet, ready to come out from under the lamp. In the meantime, I'm just going to actually tighten up my bottles with my other hand so that they don't leak when I pop them away. But it's just really important to store them upright. So this is the Jamberry lamp that I'm using, and people often say, can I use a different lamp with the Jamberry gels? And otherwise they also say, can I use different gels with the Jamberry lamp? The answer is you wouldn't get the best possible outcome, only because the lamp and the gels are designed to go together. So our gels need 45 seconds. Other gels may need a minute to a minute and a half. You don't exactly know how long they need. And the emittance from our lamp, it's not actually a UV lamp as such, it is LED. And while it does have a very low dose of UV in it, it is different to what salons use with their UV lamps. So it's really important to use the two together for best results. So they're not saying you can't, but the best results come when you pair the two together. Okay, so you can see there that now that I have a really lovely coverage. My kids are having a wonderful time playing down the back there. But the ends are capped, and that is finished. Okay, hopefully that was a good video for you. That was just the one nail, and I did it very slowly just so you could see. If you have any questions, Olivia Scholl is my name. I'm an independent Jamberry consultant. If you don't already have a consultant, I would love to be your jam girl. Alright, thanks so much for taking the time out of your day to watch my video, and hopefully I'll have more for you later on. Okay, see you.